Best quote ever.
Yeah,
I still don't know who that is.
It's Vince McMahon, motherfucker.
Who's Vince McMahon?
It's a rich ass dude.
President Trump appears
he
to
could
be
be
backing
if he
off
wanted
the
it
hard line
enough.
he took earlier this week on vaping and e-cigarettes. Okay, so last night, the president tweeted this: "While I like the vaping alternative to cigarettes, we need to make sure this alternative is safe for all. Let's get counterfeits off the market and keep young children from vaping."
Well, on Wednesday, Trump said he wanted to ban all flavored e-cigarettes, including mint and menthol, and that the FDA was working on plans.
Oh,
to
what a
just
coincidence!
that.
This is menthol.
Here's our chief medical correspondent, Sanjay
Really
Gupta.
good.
If you've been following the vaping story, you realize that there's sort of two separate but related stories going on at the same time. With regard to the news out of the White House this week, this was really about addressing the flavorings in these products. The concern being that those flavorings target children, and that children are more likely to vape. And we see the numbers. You showed the numbers. 2017, around 11, 12% of kids vaping. And now you got closer to 27.5% of these kids that are vaping. Numbers maybe even higher because, you know, you ask people if they vape or not. They're not always honest.
What's worse, smoking or vaping at this point?
I mean, certainly extraordinary.
I like how he's trying to use anecdotal bullshit to slur the fucking statistical shitting on his side. Well, if you ask people, it may be higher.
Cigarettes, combustible cigarettes. Take a look there.
All right, pause it real quick. Hold on. Like, it's already been proven, like, the ones that, like, are, like, hurting a lot of people are, like, the black market ones.
Yes.
Like,
that's
with, like, really bad chemicals and shit. If you get it from a reputable source, like an actual vape shop that, you know, that actually either make their own and make their, like, the stuff that's supposed to be right, you're not going to get, like, what the problem that we fucking have.
And
these prices are severely low.
If you're buying knockoff vape supplies, you're going to cure cancer. So,
well, from what I was hearing, weren't all the people who were getting the lung disease, they were using the THC version, the street weed version of vaping.
Yeah.
They weren't using like the regular vape.
Yeah. And this is all done obviously. Well, I mean, when you're looking at stuff like that, a lot of the stuff that they're getting is you know, medical stuff that's being passed along through the black market, which I imagine you're not going to have much of an issue with that. But I think the problem comes in where people are making it themselves. And I mean, that's what you're seeing here. It's of course, we're going to use this to try to put a ban on it. The first little thing that comes around, 6 deaths since 2012, I think was the number, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But we're not.
This is the lawn darts of our generation.
We're not gonna tackle these assholes
that kill like 6 people a second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the lawn darts of our situation or of our generation. Like a lawn dart killed one person, and then we gotta ban all of them. I'm like, fucking assholes.
Creaky Blinder said that he owns one, he owns a vape shop, and their suppliers has released a statement that, you know, like, look, all these deaths have come from the black market. It's not our stuff that is killing people. It's the stuff that people are making at home themselves not safe, and it's that shit. I mean,
it's one of those things like you're taking a risk if you're buying a taco out of a van. Why the fuck are you buying fucking things that burn and go into your lungs out of a van too? Like, a little diarrhea versus a lung explosion. Really, you fucking idiot! Stop it.
But you know what though? Let's say if you're in a weed game and you're buying weed and all that shit. Most of the time you're buying it, especially if you're from like New York or in the Northeast, you're buying it from not a store. You're buying it from an unreputable source. And I think a lot of this stuff has happened because people wanted to vape with weed. And those products are just inherently unsafe unless you're in like Colorado or one of those states where you can actually buy from a reputable source. So it's you know, the market, by not legalizing it, you force people to buy from a black market where, you know, the standards are just not the same.
Yeah, and then people like to go weed. Yeah. Well, I mean, I actually have a weed pen with the THC. It's actually pretty cool. You don't have to burn anything, just real quick, one puff, and you're done. But
I know that's what fucked me up through the 24-hour show. I just kept hitting that bitch like, this is okay.
Like, oh fuck, it's hitting.
No, it's not okay.
But like, if they ban, like, if you went through with this fucking ban, all it's going to do is cause more people to fucking make the black market shit, and then more people are going to fucking die. I mean, so it's just
all they're doing is Streisand affecting the shit out of it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
all they're doing right now. They're like, don't buy Grand Theft Auto. I'm gonna try the fuck out of Grand Theft. Like when the Dave Chappelle special came out and The Verge was bitching about it. I was just like, I'm gonna watch the shit out of that. And that's what happened. I watched it. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. The Verge does not know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, it was a glowing endorsement. They had no clue.
Oh yeah, did you guys see that it was like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes from like the critics and like 99% from the fans? It was like, yeah, something's wrong here.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
When I googled it on Rotten Tomatoes, like the critics eventually got up to like 50% or some shit, and I was just like, still 99% to 50%.
Fuck that.
Like,
that's a fantastic stand-up special. I haven't seen a stand-up special that raw in a decade plus. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Fuck everything.
Comedy is though.
The only thing I didn't like about it is like they had some angles where they got Dave Chappelle perfectly, and he looked like he did like 20 years ago. And then some of them like, oh god, he's gotten old as shit. That's the only thing I didn't like.
It's good times.
You know what? Man. But one thing about like when I watched Dave Chappelle that last special, it reminded me of the first time I saw a George Carlin special when he was talking about religion.
Yeah.
And I was looking, I was like, oh, can people actually say this shit? Like he's talking about the Bible, but he loves you. I'm like, oh my god! And you know, sitting there with religious people, looking around, and these motherfuckers is like smirking too, but they don't want to laugh. And I'm like, yeah, this shit sounds kind of crazy, right? But that Dave Chappelle thing made me feel that way too, where it was funny. But it wasn't supposed to be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, should I laugh right now? Like he just made something that was really funny, but fuck, if I laugh, my wife might slap me. So like there was shit that I thought was funny, and I was just like, oh my god, this is great. And I had to keep looking back to see if she was asleep so I could snicker because it was just shit I couldn't like.
Oh, okay. I don't get that because
like,
some of us.
Asshole?
See, I don't get that because some of us aren't little bitches, but I laugh.
Well, Billy could tell you about it, but unfortunately, he's a little bitch too.
No.
No, I can just see your wife just waking up out of a dead sleep and smacking you in the back of the fucking head. Oh man.
You know a part in that thing, and this is for a spoiler from the Dave Chappelle. And I'm going to say one joke that made me laugh, but it made me laugh where my wife jumped. She was surprised I laughed at it, but it was just something I didn't expect. Like when he was talking about the Michael Jackson accusers, and when he first starts, he was like, and the first thing he says is, "This motherfucker's been dead for 10 years and now got 2 new cases." Yo, I just started bursting out laughing. I was like, "That shit is so fucking true."
The next part with R. Kelly is like, yeah, he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that shit. He did that shit. I don't believe those two guys, the 10 years later guys, but these two guys, yeah.
He's like, he's over there on the video, like, I love this 14-year-old pussy. And the lawyer would be like, come on, help me.
Give me something to work with. I've had clients like that before, though. I remember there was one time I'm sitting there with this criminal defendant. He's like, yo, I want you to take my case. So I'm like, all right, so what's going on? What happened? Next thing I know, he's like, yeah, it's all good. So I'm like, all right, let me research it. Let me, before I sign you up. Next thing I know, I go research it, and this motherfucker is giving like tape confessions to the police and everything. I'm like, this motherfucker to me looks guilty. I'm like, so hold on, you admitted everything to the police, it seems like. And he's like, yeah, but I think we can get that thrown out. I'm like, you're gonna have to get that thrown out with another attorney. Because I don't think it's really a case here to win. I'm sorry, but and I felt bad because, a lot of these cases I would take pro bono, but you got to give me something to work with. You can't, I can't be going inside there and they got video that, tape where you saying you did everything. There's nothing for me to do at that point. There's nothing for me to do. I'm guilty.
You done fucked
Come
up.
on, man.
Oh yeah, that's the hardest thing a motherfucker has to do. Trust me, when you tell a guy, it's jail time. They're offering jail time. I've seen some people man up though, but I wouldn't like if they give me 30 years, I sit there and take it like that. I'm like, fuck it. This is my last bit of freedom. I'm going all out, kissing the bailiff, whatever it takes. I'm going to get whatever fun I get to get out before I go do my 30 years.
Shit.